All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to Ironside Lunch and Learn. Very excited to see all these new faces in the room. Really mesameach. Big thanks once again to Ofer and Judah for keeping this going and promoting it and sponsoring it. This week's parasha is Chaye Sarah. Since there's so many concepts over there that are connected to a woman, pregnancies, person's hardships in life, there's a lot of things that are that a person can draw from in this week's parasha. So I'd like to dedicate this lesson to the success, to the tzlachat of Rina bat Jacqueline, Aharon Meir ben Miriam, and Esther bat Miriam. These are all people that whatever's going on in their life right now is completely connected to this week's parasha. Bezat Hashem, these divrei Torah will be to their benefit. So here we are, Chaye Sarah. You read the title, Chaye Sarah, in the first pasuk she dies. I always thought it was so ironic. You're ready for the whole biography, and there it goes. She was here, and the pasuk starts, Vayu Chaye Sarah. We'll read it from the book. ויהיו חיי שרה 100 שנה ו20 שנה ו7 שנים שני חיי שרה. So Rashi says over there, basically she's 127 years old. Rashi says, bat kaf ke bat chaf. She was like over 100 years old, but she looked like she was 20 years old. You have to understand that this was a very unique human being. She gave birth at 90. Her beauty came back to her. Her body went in reverse, went back in time. She was able to breastfeed and get back the menstruation cycle very late in life when people usually lose it. She was one of the most beautiful women to ever live. The Gemara testifies that she was one of the top 4 women in beauty on the planet ever. And Rashi says that bat kaf ke bat chaf, bat kuf ke bat chaf. In other words, she was very old, but she looked very young. And bat chaf ke bat zayin. And she was, in her 20 is like 7. In other words, usually Hashem begins to do the judgment of punishments over 20. But when she got to that age of being able to judge her about her punishment, she was like a 7-year-old. She was mamash teorah, nothing. And the Midrash continues to say that kulan shavin letova. Any stage of her life that you would zoom in on Sarah Eemenu, they were all good. Why? There are stages in life. Certain people, in their younger years, they go off the road. Then they make teshuvah and they come back when they're older. Certain people shine when they're young and they lose the way when they get old. Everybody has a period in their life, highs, lows. Doing good, doing bad, in between. Each one has a period in their life. So here Chazal testified that if you ever zoom in onto her life, kulan shavim letova, she was all good all the time. Very unique to keep that going for so many years. Very interesting though, even though that we learn from the first pasuk that she was alive 127 years, and the rabbis are letting us know of her beauty, of her character, and the way she carried herself. I heard an interesting midrash from Rav Meir Eliyahu. He says, very interesting about the first word of the parasha, Vayiyu. He says, Vayiyu, if you take the numerical value, the gematria of Vayiyu, it adds up the Vav, the Yud, the Hey, the Yud, and the Vav, totals up 37. Which is what? 37 years was the age of her son Yitzchak. Her son was alive for 37 years. So it says, Vayiyu, Chaye Sarah. That's how you should read it. What is it? When she got her boy, that's when she was alive. When she had her child, that's when she finally felt alive. All the rest was, that was her life. But once she got her child, she was really living. We see a similar concept with that Yaakov later on with Yosef. But they said, Vayiyu, those were the 37 years that Sarah was peaking. That's when she was enjoying life for the most. She got all this joy from her son. Ironically, there's a big concept in Judaism, especially with Hashem, midah keneged midah. The fact that Sarah lived for 127 years and she excelled in her life. We say that Maaseh Avot Siman Lebanim, or we always have the Zchut Avot. Sometimes we get things in our life. Why? Because my grandfather was amazing. My great-grandfather was amazing. Someone in the history or in my lineage of my family was a big tzaddik, and all of a sudden his mitzvah rolls over to the generation that I'm in. All of a sudden, Mashu Tov Koreh, something good happens to me. Undeserved sometimes. Why? It's called Zchut Avot. What was the Zchut Imaot, we will call it right now, for Sarah Eemenu? That her great-granddaughter was who? Esther HaMalka. And Esther ruled over 127 nations. The fact that she was alive for 127 years and they were to perfection, her great-granddaughter merited to be a queen over 127 nations in the time of Purim with Achashverosh when she became the queen. Very interesting fact. Something that you should know, that even though that the beginning of the parasha speaks of Sarah Eemenu passing away, in order to find out how she passed away or why she passed away, you just have to go back a few pesukim in reverse to Parashat Vayera. How did she die? Sarah Eemenu passed away from bad news. She passed away from bad news. What was the bad news? The Yetzer Hara comes to her and tells her, your beloved child, the one that you're living for, the one that is everything that you're all about, that your entire life is all about, your son? She says, yeah. He says, let me show you something. And he shows her the exact moment when Avraham Avinu has Yitzchak on top of the altar, and he's got the knife in his hand, and he's holding it right before the part of the Malach says, Avraham, Avraham. He didn't show her that part. He showed her as if he's going. So as soon as she saw that, Parcha Nishmata. Her soul left her. And from this we learn that in life, you have to ease people into bad news. You can't just give people bad news one shot. Oh, by the way, that friend, he died today morning. Oh, that, your grandfather, your uncle, whatever it is, you can't just sneak it up on a person. A person passed away. We see it from Sarah Eemenu, when she got the bad news really quick, her soul left her. When you're faced in a situation like that, when somebody has passed, and you have to break the news to somebody in your family, your wife, a person's wife, a person's children, a person's friend, you ease into it. First you tell them, come, have a seat. Here's a glass of water, sit down. Your uncle, the one that's been in the hospital for the past 2 weeks, yeah, he's been doing good. Baruch Hashem, the doctors have been taking care of him. He's, he was showing some good signs. Unfortunately, today we got a phone call from the doctors, and they said that at 11 o'clock in the morning, he went to Olam Haba. When you break it down to somebody in levels, it doesn't sneak up on him. He's already used to the concept, to the idea, to the person. So when you tell him like that, you ease him into it. God forbid, sometimes people get into trauma, or people don't know how to process it, because sometimes the news comes to them in such a bang that all of a sudden they can't deal with the moment, and later on there's repercussions to it. We learn from Sarah Eemenu, you have to ease people into bad news. The parasha continues about Avraham. Here's her husband. How does Avraham react? He just got off the hardest test of his life, number 10. Putting his son on the altar, believing that he has to murder him because Hashem, bring him as a sacrifice. Hashem, that's what Hashem wanted from him. He passes that, he comes home to what? His beloved wife, the one he loved so much, passing away. The pasuk says, "Vayavo Avraham lispod Sarah velifkota." He came to eulogize her and to cry. And it says over there that the pasuk, if you look closely, when you go to shul this Shabbat, if you look at this particular word in the Sefer Torah, it's a small chaf. It's a baby chaf. So Chazal tell us, why is there a small chaf? Because he didn't cry that much. So everybody's saying, well, First of all, shouldn't be velivkota. Shouldn't he cry first, then do the eulogy? Why did he eulogize and then cry? The normal human emotion is the opposite. So there's several reasons. One, he cried very little because she was old. Naturally, people after 120, if they pass away, it's not a big shock. Secondly, Abraham was very connected to Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. He knew that her mission in this world was complete. She's done over here. She moved on to the next level. And she's still around. She's not gone. Physically, the suit that she was wearing, her body is gone. But her neshama now is in the right place. So you know how to take it the right way. It's a person who's in touch with the Jewish reality, let's call it. However, something deeper over here that I read this morning from Lekach Tov, it's a midrash on Parashat Chaye. It says, if he was going to cry first, then it would seem like to everybody else that he regretted the Akedah. Why? If he's crying, Why are you crying? Because you want to do Hashem's will? Hashem told you to do Akedah Yitzchak. Now you're crying because your wife died because she saw you doing the Akedah? So he says, he didn't want anyone to have the impression that what he did on Akedah Yitzchak was full-heartedly and he's 100% okay with it. And then what happened was a secondary incident what happened with his wife. Here too we learn something about Yetzer Hara. They said the Yetzer Hara you have to watch out when he's in front of you and when he's back of you. Why? Before you do the mitzvah, what does he tell you? He wants to discourage you all the time. You know, before you do a mitzvah, he's always trying to talk you out of it. And then after you do the mitzvah, what does he do? He wants you to regret it after. I didn't do it the right way, maybe next time I can do it like this. He's always trying to get you. Before the mitzvah, with Avraham Avinu, what did he do? He gave him a hard time. He put a river in front of him. He put the water up until his neck. He started making noises before the Akedah. He was just trying to do anything to get him to make a mistake during the Akedah. After the Akedah, he said, no, I'm coming to get you. I got your wife. What are you going to be right now? He's trying to say, like, Avraham would say, if I didn't go to the Akedah, she'd be alive. She wouldn't be scared. Nishmata lo hayta porachat. So Avraham wanted to say, no, you're not going to get me like that. You're not going to make me feel like the mitzvah that I did wasn't a beautiful mitzvah, the perfect thing. I had 100% emunah and trust in the fervor for the mitzvah before, and after that, you're not going to talk me out of it, that because of the mitzvah, then I should feel bad for the passing of Sarah. So that's why I said, Lifkota, the chaf, is to symbolize all those things. However, in the past year, Baruch Hashem, we were able to zoom in a little bit on a character in the parasha. We did Abraham, we did Yitzchak, we did Yaakov, we did Yoshua bin Nun, we did Moshe Rabbeinu, we even did Nadav and Avihu. We always zoomed in to see who that person is really behind those 2-3 pesukim that they're in the parasha. Today, let's take a closer look at Sarah Eemenu. First of all, she is the first matriarch. We have Shlosha Avot, Arba Imahot, she's the first one. Okay, it's a very exclusive club. Not everybody got into this club. Sarah Eemenu is the first one. She was a prophet. The rabbis tell us she was a 100% full-blown Nevi'ah. She was able to prophesize, and she saw things. Sarah started out as Sarai, was her real name, and her father was Haran. He wasn't a Jew. Later on, she had a name change, but before she got the name change, you have to understand that she was with Avraham from the age of 65 to 75, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. They were trying to have children and it wasn't working. After 10 years, what does she say? Take my maiden, Hagar, take her, have a child with her, maybe I can start a family through her. The fact that she did it between 65 and 75, we learn from this the halakha, from this week's parasha, that a person who's married to his wife for 10 years and she can't conceive children, he has 100% the right to go, get a divorce, and marry somebody else. But look over here, Avraham didn't come to her. Look at Tzaddiket, she came to him. She said, look, it's been 10 years. Go get somebody else. Go get it started. Could you imagine? What woman does that? What woman after 10 years with her husband says, go get another woman so you can have children? Tzaddiket. Around that time, we had also the name change of Sarai to Sarah. That Yud got split into two Hays. Sarai became Sarah, and Avram became Avraham. Each one got a Hay. And they say a person who has a Hay in their name, it's a good segula for Zivug and for Pirya Verivya, especially for the girls. Any girl who has Hay in her name typically has a much easier time getting married and a much easier time also getting pregnant. So Bezat Hashem, when you guys have children and you name the girls, put a Hay in there. Put a Hay in there. So, ironically, even though that she went through the name change, and right after the name change she was able to conceive, many years after that she was able to conceive, later on there's a beautiful midrash of actually the Yud of Sarai went somewhere else. The Yud of Sarai went to Hoshea bin Nun. Hoshea bin Nun, who was the future leader of Am Yisrael after Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu looks at him and he says, this guy's going to lead the Jewish nation. He's going to take over after me. He's missing something. He's missing some sort of, he needs to be a little bit tougher. He needs to be a little bit more clear. He has to be a little bit more connected to a certain characteristic that he's missing. He says, you know who has that character that he's missing? Sarah. Sarah, the way she handled Hagar, the way she handled her home, the way she handled Ishmael, that was the character that Yeshua was missing. So Moshe Rabbeinu took that Yud that was floating in the air and turned Hoshea ben Nun to Yehoshua bin Nun. He took the Yud from there. Why? Because he needed the Yud from the character of Sarah. By the way, that's why it's bin Nun, because if you take the ben, it has a segol. If you take the shva to put it under the Yehoshua, the Yud gets a shva. What is the ben is left with? A chirik. That's what's called bin Nun. Not even a nekuda gets wasted in our Torah. It's unbelievable. Sarah also has a different name. She's called Yiska. Yiska comes from the root word, from the shoresh of Nesicha. She was the princess of the world. She was very royal, very, very unique woman. She was extremely beautiful. And it was very noticeable, yet she never used it to her advantage the way that some women would use their beauty. We'll touch that in a little bit. Very, very interesting though, is that Sarah Eemenu was also a Gilgul, a reincarnation, / tikkun, any way you want to say it. Either she was a reincarnation or she came to fix another woman from previous to her. And that woman is Chava. This is, I shared it on the class on Sunday, but it's such a sweet chidush. I'm going to repeat it again. If you go to Sefer Bereshit, Perek Yud Chet, Pasuk Yud, it says over there, Perek Gimel, Pasuk Chaf, it says over there, ויקרא האדם שם אשתו חווה, כי היא הייתה אם כל חי. Says that Adam, after the whole thing that happened, and after he named all the animals, and he did everything that went on for the past few hours while he was alive, comes to the point where he has to name his wife. What does he call his wife? He calls the Em Kol Chai, Chava. Now why would he call his wife Chava? Which is interesting, if you look a little bit closer, a few pesukim before that, it says over there about the snake. Pasuk Yud Gimel, it says, Vayomer Adonai Elohim laisha, ma zot asit, vatomer haisha, hanachash hishiani va'ochal. This is in this pasuk, the Chava is blaming the snake. He did it. He's the one that told me to eat. If you look at unkulus is an Aramaic translation to the Torah. If you look at the word nachash in unkulus, you know what it's called? Chivya. Snake in Aramaic is chivya. The snake tells Chava, you know what my name is? My name is Chivya, and your name is Chava. We're a couple. We're supposed to be together. They say, don't read it, Vatoma Isha Nachash Hishiani, Hanachash Hisiani, like we got married. He says, I belong to him. It's a deep secret from the Zohar. There's a lot more to it. I'm just giving you like the top of it. So she says, the Nachash Chava Chivya. So the truth is, if you go to the first pasuk, if you look at the words that Adam used, he should have said, Vaikra Adam Shem Ishto, not Chava. Her name should be Chaya. Why? He's Em Kol Chai. Em Kol Chai, her name should be Chaya, not Chava. So there's something off over there. Now, if you go now to Perek Yud Chet, Pasuk Yud, that was last week's parasha, super interesting. It says over there, right as the angels were sitting over there with Avraham Avinu when he was doing the Achnasat Orchim, and they give the news that in 1 year's time, we're coming back and she's going to be pregnant. What did they say? This is the angel speaking. Vayomer, Shov ashuv elecha ka'et chaya, v'hine ben lesara, ishtecha, v'sara shomat petach oel v'hu acharav. Let's zoom in on just a few words. Vayomer, Shov ashuv elecha, I'm going to come back to you. Ka'et chaya. Right now, she's chaya. V'hine ben lesara. What does it mean? Sarah Eemenu was able to fix the original sin of Chava, and all of a sudden, what is she now? She's not Chava anymore. Ka'et chaya. She's not Chava, she's chaya. She did the tikkun, and what's the result? V'hine ben lesara. Now she's going to merit to have a boy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because if you read just that pasuk, that word, ka'et chaya, v'hine ben lesara, that chaya doesn't match. It just does not match to the pasuk. But if you go back to Bereshit and you connect the two, you can see there's deeper secrets right under our nose. So I thought that was also an incredible chidush about Sarah and the fact that she was one of the tikkunim of Chava. Understand that other women also did the tikkun of Chava. Each one did a certain part. Sarah got a job, she completed it, she married her son. Now, besides that, Sarah was also a wife and a mother. She was a very holy woman. She was very tznuah, extremely modest. She was so beautiful and so modest that, as a matter of fact, Avraham Avinu, right before he went to Mitzrayim, he lays eyes on her and he's like, oh my God, I've never realized how beautiful you are. I mean, I know you're beautiful spiritually. I know that you're an extremely high level neshama, but physically, I never realized how beautiful you are, or how beautiful you are. However, like I said before, she never used her beauty for ulterior motives. She actually used her beauty to elevate herself spiritually. You know, there's some women today, because God granted them a beautiful face or some beautiful features, that's it. It's a free ticket in life. Everywhere they go, it's, you know, the red ropes open up. Everything is carte blanche. Everything is has no cost. So there's some women that use their beauty for that. But imagine if you're the most beautiful woman in the world and you're tznuah. Who does that? Who takes the most beautiful face in the world and hides it and doesn't use it to their advantage and is still concentrated on their spirituality more than their physicality? That's Sarah Eemenu. Sarah Eemenu also, as a mother, if you notice, you know, she just has a few lines in the parasha. The most important thing for Sarah Eemenu was Yitzchak. Like we said, Vayihi. Those 37 years, she was super focused on her son, the education of her son, the school of thought of her son, the surroundings, the people that are around, his friends. She was super connected that not one foreign thing will come and spoil the kedusha of this boy. We see it when she kicked out Hagar, when she kicked out Ishmael, when she was saying how they were talking, how they were behaving. She didn't take any chances with her children. She didn't take any chance. She didn't say, it's Hagar, she's the neighbor, she's the second wife. No, Murachat, as they say, let it just slide. No. He's wrong. She's wrong. Out. Cut and dry. No, no two ways about it. Nowadays, fortunately and unfortunately, we have our kids, and they're with their friends. How much do we know about their friends? How much? Even if they're 5, even if they're 6, even if they're 7. Teenagers, I don't even want to talk about that. You can see clearly if they're good or bad. But even at a younger age, you say, they're little, they're just playing Lego. It's not. It's the midot, it's the words, it's the chinuch in the bayit. And some people are they leave it, uyeled, he's a kid, I'll deal with him when he grows up. He lost the war. He lost the war at 5. You think you're going to catch him at 12 or at 15? Sarai Eemenu teaches us you have to be on top of your children, and you have to be on top of their surroundings, and you have to be on top of everything that's going around them, and cut and dry.
So when we read every morning the Shema. What the Shema say every morning, no?
It does. We reaffirm in ourselves what's important to us. If you ever heard this saying, it says, Shema beni, Musar avicha, v'al titosh Torat imecha. If you take that saying, it says, Shema beni musar avicha. What's musar avicha? Your father is always telling you how to do things right. Why? He leaves in the morning to pray. He goes to work. He comes at night. The kid is sleeping. So what's left? Every once in a while, he catches him 3-4 times a week at home. What does the father say to the son? You have to study. You have to be a good boy. Make sure you do this, you do that. It's musar. It's musar. The father gives musar. He chimes in 3-4 times a week and shows the father figure in the house. V'al titosh Torat imecha. The mother, she's teaching Torah. The mother, she's the one that's teaching the kid how to be a Jew. Because she's with him when he wakes up, when he goes to school, when he comes back, when he's eating, when he's showering, when he's sleeping. She's got him 24/7 and she doesn't let him up for 25 years. Some till 60, 70. They never let up their mother. But that's what happened. Al titosh Torat imecha. The mother is the one that teaches. Don't forget in a Jewish home the role of a mother. What's a good mother in a Jewish home? It's the best. You can all testify. I don't know one Jew who's not a mom's boy. There's no such thing that your mom didn't raise you the right way. And not only that she's heavily invested in your success. Where did it start? Where's the shorish to that? Where is the root to all that? Sarai Eemenu. As a matter of fact, when she saw the Akedah, what did she see? She sees her husband that she respects and loves. She's married to Avraham. She's got her only son, her beloved 37-year-old, tied up on the Mizbeach. She sees the husband going to do the Akedah, but what is she noticing? She's noticing that her son Yitzchak is holding his neck out like this, tight, making sure he's not going to move. Even though that her neshama, parchami, and that she died, but at that moment she was very proud. You know why? She's like, look at this Mesirut Nefesh. I raised him well. Look at what I did. Look at my son. My son, if he needs to be a korban for Kadosh Baruch Hu, he sticks his neck out. She had a proud moment over there. A woman's purpose in life is her children. Not a career woman. I'm sorry if anybody in the room thinks otherwise. But a woman's role is marriage and children. This new thing that a woman is a career woman, it's a new item. It's just the past 50 years. Even 100 years ago, no woman picked up her briefcase and went out to work. So I'll see you at 5. There's no such thing. Now with generations, things are changing. Equality, I'm like you, you're like me. We're not the same. We're not. The man has a role, the woman has a role. The man will never be able to stay home and bear children and raise children. God gave that DNA, the certain midot and characteristics only to a woman. Same way that the woman, today we need 2-income families, it's understood, it's accepted. But in reality, the woman needs to stay home and raise the children. And that gives her the most amount of happiness. And I'm going to tell you, it's true. It's 100% true. Ask a mom, do you want to go work and make millions? Or would you like to have a son and a daughter that you can raise? Let's not say it's 100% rating, because maybe some women are not holding yet, but 90% of the time a woman will tell you, I'll take that child. I want to be a mom. And if she doesn't hold like that in her 20s, she'll hold like that in her 25s. And if not in 30, guaranteed at 30. There's no woman where the clock starts to tick at 30, she should start thinking about. 35, they'll drop their millions to have children. At 40, forget about it. 911, siren. Where's my father? Where's my kid? Where's my family? Where's that? The purpose of a woman, like they said about Sarah. Where's Sarah? The angels come and ask her, Sarah ba'ohel. Sarah ba'ohel. Why does the Torah need to tell us that she's sitting in the ohel? To let us know that the greatest matriarch of all, Sarah Eemenu, where was she? She could be doing it. She could be taking kahal. Come talk to me. I'm a prophet. Let me give you blessings. Let me give you mishaberach. Sarah ba'ohel. She's happy to be at home raising the children. One last thing. In last week's parasha it says, Kol asher tomar lecha Sarah shma bekola. Avraham Avinu, the father of monotheism, of the first patriarch, gets direct instructions from the creator of the world. Listen to your wife. Listen to your wife. Shma bekola. She knows better. And from this we learn that the bracha in a man's home comes from the wife. We said it last week. It was so nice. We said it twice. You got to know. Men, you have to know. I'm talking to myself. The bracha comes from the wife. And the wife, when she's happy, and when she's fulfilled, and when she's fulfilling her own role as a woman, and her own role in the marriage, and her own role in the world, there's no other better flow of hatzlacha that a man can have in his life than a woman that's in that state. You want to ask for a raise from your boss? Go be nice to your wife. You want your brand new business to succeed? Go be nice to your wife. You want to make $1 million? Go to your wife. Go to a wife. Hashem says, leave me out of it. Go to the wife. Be everything, do everything the right way with your wife. It's going to come through her. That's why sometimes when you get into a situation, for the married people in the room and beyond, when it comes to the point where it's like, I'm right, she's wrong, how could this be? It's better to be happy than to be right. It's better to be smart than to be right. In other words, sometimes even if you're in the right, keep the shalom, keep the woman happy. It's better than any other outcome. Many people hold, but I have the right, I need sodek. Take that and file it under T for trash. It makes no difference whether you're right or not. Is she happy or not? If the woman is happy, everything is going to flow in your life. Shma bekola. Now, that was just a little bit of an insight about Sarah. There's much more that can be said about her. But Be'ezrat Hashem, that we shall all merit to have wives that are tznuot like Sarah Eemenu, that are going to be tzadikot like Sarah Eemenu, that should be a good mom. You ever want to go parenting class, want to go to a therapist? Don't. Open up Chaye Sarah, open up Parashat Chaye, see how she behaved with her children, see how she behaved with her husband. That's the best therapy book you could ever get. That's us. Sarah is us. Avraham is us. If you ever want to know how to behave with your children, with your marriage, just see how the Avot and the Imaot did it. Sarah was an Eshet Chayim. She was a good mom. She concentrated on Torah upbringing. It was very important for her not to be in the wrong surroundings, not to be in the wrong environment, not to have the wrong friends. And that was in her personal life. And above and beyond that, while she's going through this whole thing of being Mrs. Avraham Avinu and the mother of Yitzchak, and all that comes along with it, she was doing the tikkun of Chava. In other words, on a spiritual level, imagine what level she was on. She's also in another exclusive club, buried in Ma'arat HaMachpelah. You know, that's another place it's a magical place on earth. You got Adam and Chava living, buried over there, Avraham and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yaakov and Leah, and the head of Esav Avinu. And inside is the gateway to, does anybody know? To heaven. If you ever thought, like in the movies, they have like a transport where you go from one world to the next. Ma'arat HaMachpelah, right there, there's a gateway to heaven. And that's where she's sleeping right now. Because they're not really dead. They call them Yisheneh Afar. They're sleeping in the ground. There's many stories of them getting up, praying, beseeching for us, praying for us.
Yisheneh Afar?
Yisheneh, כן. כן, Yisheneh Afar. They're not lo metim. Yisheneh Afar. So Be'ezat Hashem, that we're merit to have Chaye Sarah in our life. So for all those that already are in a marriage and have children, hopefully you learned a lot from this. And for all you that are single in the room, Be'ezat Hashem, שתזכו לזיווגים ראויים כשרה אימנו. שבת שלום וברכה.